Cool beans, friends. Hello, cool beans. What up, YouTube? Do you love nature and seeing beautiful wildlife and geysers around you? Are you a student that wants to save money this summer and have a fun experience? Did you just go through a really bad divorce and need a place to stay? Well, then I have the thing for you. It's Yellowstone. Yay! If you're one of those three, or just want to see this stuff, this video is for you. I've worked in Yellowstone for the last 2 years. I know what I'm talking about sometimes, and I'm going to be talking about Yellowstone now. I wanted to make a video. I've tried twice, I failed twice. Third time's a charm, they say. So I worked there, but when I first started, there was no information online for about pretty much the employee experience. So this is going to be my attempt to try to tell you about it a little bit. Hopefully you'll also be able to get a general idea of what's working like in the Yellowstone ecosystem area. Who am I, or what's my experience? I worked 2 years in Lake Yellowstone Hotel, 2 summers. They're closed during the winter. Started off as a bellhop my first year. Second year, I was a cocktail server. I know a little bit, mostly about the lake area. My lake t-shirt represents my first ever time in Yellowstone. They gave me the passcode for the closed off roads because I had to get to the location before it was open to the public. I was driving to my location, which was Lake Yellowstone, through the Hayden Valley when it was still full of snow and the roads were barely paved. And I opened the gate and I'm driving down the first time ever in the park. And then I stopped because there's a wolf on the road staring me down. And that was pretty cool. It was pretty cool working in the lake area, to be honest. I liked that one a lot. I went there 2 times. Because there's a big old lake. It's a huge lake. It's almost 2 times the size of Washington, D.C. And it freezes over during the winter time. One time when the lake was still frozen over, me and a bunch of friends went over to dip in the lake, the little area where it melted by the shore. Get energy kind of thing going. Dipped in, cold, went back to my place, took a shower, then I met other friends, and I'm like, hey, you guys want to go polar plunging? So I went back. The second time I went in, I was a little bit more brave. So I got onto the ice and started army crawling because it was thin, because it was starting to melt already. And then I fell through. I had these badass bruises all over my arms because I fell through, like my body weight, but my arms just slammed into the ice. And I was a badass. You don't have much to do, so you do dumb stuff. I like the lake area a lot. It has horrible reception. There's no service, barely any. Like, unless you have Verizon Wireless, then you could send text messages and like have a call for like 20 seconds before it gets dropped. Besides that, there's like nothing. There's like no service. You don't have the internet to keep you occupied, so you have to find fun things to do. And that's one of those things is jumping in a frozen lake. Another thing is drinking, because why not drink, right? It's pretty much summer camp, but if the campers were adults, that means a lot of drinking. There's also an employee pub that they have only for employees, so that also adds to more drinking. And also, you're in the middle of nowhere. You literally are like an hour and a half drive to closest town. And after nighttime, unless you're camping, you don't really have anything to do after dark. What are you gonna do, right? Like, I'm not saying you could only drink there, but I am saying that if you're a recovering alcoholic, that's not the best space to be in. Of course, there are people that don't drink. There's also plenty of college students that are under the age of 21 that don't drink. There are people that hang out like in the common room and play games or puzzles or chit chat, do something. After dark, unless you're camping, you don't have much to do. I think boredom's a good thing. Boredom's fun. Boredom makes you find fun things. But when you're bored, you have to find stuff to do. Become more creative. You become, something. You do something because you're going crazy. Or you drink. The actual work itself, when you do that, it depends what job you have. But I'm gonna say that most likely for you, it's going to be crazy and unorganized for the first few months. The beautiful thing of seasonal work is that every season it closes. And then that also means that every new season it has to reopen. And the amount of people that come back every year is, it's not a lot. It's always a hassle. That's just the nature of seasonal work. The workers themselves are young people or divorced people or college students. or people that really like hiking. The big issue, I think, online when you find a new place, a new seasonal job, is that you'll read reviews of people that are pissed off and write horrible reviews, and they stick. Those people got fired, most likely. So they're probably mad. And they probably got fired because they're stupid. Because it's always a struggle to find more people, especially in seasonal work, especially in a place so remote like Yellowstone, because you have to be in a very specific place in your life to be able to drop everything and go live in the woods for like 5 months. Not saying it's a bad thing. I like living in the woods. I would be a Ted Krasinski kind of person if I had more motivation and if I was smarter. But I'm neither of those, so I'm good for now. Yeah, so you're reading, when you see reviews online of saying, oh, it's horrible employee or horrible stuff, they're probably, half true, half not true. There's always people that go to seasonal jobs, go have a great time for the first 2 weeks, realize that they have to continue doing the job part of the seasonal job, and then quit. Or, get fired because they don't want to do the job. So in Yellowstone, there's a golden rule that you have to go on hikes with at least 2 other people, 3 person per hike. Why? Because there's a really dense grizzly bear population in the greater Yellowstone ecosystem. There used to be a larger grizzly bear population across the United States, but the future happened and we killed a lot of them. So there's the last real remaining big old grizzly population within the lower 48 states of the United States of America is in that kind of region. So because there's the golden rule of hiking out in Yellowstone, this bear country, there's always at least 3 people. So there's always people looking for other people to go on hikes. So even if you're the most athletic person in the world or the least athletic person in the world, they just need other people to scare away bears. Pretty much is the idea. I don't know why exactly, but because of that reason, because of other reasons too, everyone that's an employee there is, looking for friends. And they need friends to go on hikes. They need friends to pass the time because they're bored. So it's great in that aspect socially. The living situation as an employee in Yellowstone is not the best. You're gonna be in like a college dorm situation. If you don't have any friends going with you, you're gonna be with some random stranger unless you're a manager. Also, there's no kitchens, so everyone eats together in a cafeteria in the employee dining room, short for EDR. Living is easy. It's summertime and living is easy. If you're gonna be in Yellowstone, you're gonna be in the middle of the woods, pretty much any location. But in general, if you don't have your own vehicle, you're gonna be pretty much stuck and relying on other people with vehicles. Even to get to hikes, there's like maybe 1 or 2 hikes each location that they could walk to, but besides that, a car is super helpful if you want some sort of independence. It's not the end of the world if you don't have a car, because there's other people most of the time going to other things. But day-to-day life, going to and from work is gonna be a walk in the park. Literally. It does get kind of scary though if you're walking at nighttime because there's wildlife anywhere and everywhere. And on the path every now and then there's a bunch of bison sleeping by you, or you're walking through a bunch of elk. That's uncomfortable. If you're going there just to make money, if that's like your sole purpose, maybe look other places because you're not going to be making bank. You are not going to be paying that much for rent and or food, so you could save a lot of it, but also you're not going to be making the most money ever. If you want to make the most money possible, I'd recommend trying to become a server in the Lake Yellowstone Hotel Restaurant dining room area. They make a good amount of money. But the general gist of things is you're there to have fun, to be with friends, and to be in nature. So money kind of comes second. Oh yeah, there's also geysers and thermal features in the park, which who even thought about that? I didn't know that. That's pretty cool too. Tons of cool things to see. Wildlife, thermal features, nature. It's a good time. It's real fun. Fishing. And you could also go and do none of that and go and paint in the meadow by yourself or journal. All that stuff's the best place to do it. You get to see the seasons change if you do the full season, which is pretty neat because even though it's a summer season, it starts from sort of almost wintry time to almost wintry time again. Yeah, if you know me because I worked with you, hi. If you have any questions because you don't know me, leave a comment and I'll try to get to it. Thank you. Have a good one.